Hey Math Aces! Welcome to Mr. Ace Math. So, in this video, we're going to write the ratio of squares to triangles. We're going to make sure we do it in 3 ways and in simplest form. But the first question really is, what are the 3 ways to write ratios? The first way to write ratios is by using the word 2. 2 is the magical, most important word when you're dealing with ratios. Because first of all, ratios compare 2 things. And that word 2 separates those 2 things. The first thing we're talking about in the ratio is the number of squares. And the second thing we're talking about in the ratio is the number of triangles. And by the way, the mathy word for that is called terms. So the first term in the ratio is the number of squares. And the second term in the ratio is the number of triangles. And that word 2 separates them. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the number of squares that we see here. And how many squares are there? Well, let's count them. Here's square number 1. Not a square, not a square, nope, 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 yes. So this is square number 2, no, and square number 3. And no, and no. So there are only 3 squares in this group of shapes. So we've got 3 squares. And how many triangles do you see in this group of shapes? Well, let's count those. Not a triangle, no, no, yup. So here's triangle number 1, triangle number 2, triangle number 3, no, triangle number 4, no, no, and triangle number 5. So we've got 5 triangles in this group of shapes. Now that we know how many squares and how many triangles we have here, let's talk about how we would write that using the word 2. The first thing before that word 2 is going to be our first number. So we'll write the number 3 because there are 3 squares in this group of shapes. Then we'll write the word 2, and then we'll write the second term, which is the number of triangles. And that's 5. So we'll write 5 after the word 2. And we would say the ratio of squares to triangles is 3 to 5. We were asked to put it in simplest form, but we're lucky here because there's no way that we can reduce this ratio. There's no number that can divide both 3 and 5, except for 1, but that doesn't change anything. So we're done with the first way. The second way to write ratios is using a colon. So we'll write the first term, then a colon, and then the second term. So we have 3 squares, then we'll write the colon, which are 2 dots like this, and then we'll write the second term, which is the number of triangles. And again, that's just 5. Now this is really important. Even though it says 3 colon 5, we would still read it using the word 2. So even though it's written as 3 colon 5, we would still read it as 3 to 5. And finally, the last way to write ratios is using the fraction form, where the number in the top of the fraction is the first term in our ratio, and the bottom number is the second term in our ratio. So first we'll write the number 3, which represents the number of squares, and then our line for our fraction, and then the second term on the bottom, which is the number 5, which represents the number of triangles. And it's the same here as it is with colons. Even though we write it as 3 over 5, because we're talking about ratios, we still read it as 3 to 5. So there you have it, Math Aces. We've just covered the 3 ways to write ratios, using the word 2, using a colon, and using a fraction. Thanks for watching, and if this video helped you, make sure you like and subscribe to your favorite math channel on YouTube, Mr. Ace Math. I'll see you in the next one.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Questions? Comments? Leave them down below.
And thanks for using Mr. Ace Math. Don't just pass math, ace it.